Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I hope you're well. Sorry about the late notification for those who are getting notified. It's at noon every day, guys. You know that, right? I don't have to remind you. All right. No opening segment today. I've, I did want to do something in the middle segment, though. Shiitake mushrooms. Oh, good. Okay. All righty. So I guess we'll get right into it. No, that's water. I fear it not. I closed my door. I did. Okay. I hate having the bathroom door open. You can't see anything, but I still don't like it. Um, the girls are out sleeping in the yard right now, so that's kind of fun. Um, I will have something to say about another Minnesota thing, of course, because poor Minnesota's getting all the crap right now. Uh, so what's going on with you? Anything exciting? Put your comments. YouTube likes comments, likes, and subscribes. Subscribing is free, so subscribe, please. I'm almost to the point where I think I can start doing some other stuff. Well, no, that's not true. Well, it might be true. I might limit that. I have another project, video project, not mine, that I'm been doing, but I kind of slacked off because of the holidays. I got to get back to that, and I got to get back to my own stuff. Maybe by February. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. All right. So we have. I want to check something right now. Why is it offline? I am not offline. You're lying. My computer's in my. That makes no sense. I'm not offline, am I? Oh, I have one online. Bluetooth isn't connected. I don't care if Bluetooth is connected. It says I'm offline. I don't know why. It's crazy. How do I get it to tell it back it's back online? Okay, now we go. There we go. Did I leave? I don't know. Said I wasn't online, but that was another thing. Oh yeah, this is the week. I'll be busy this weekend. Monday's a couple of birthdays actually. Couple birthdays on Monday. All right. I guess so. I guess we'll just get into it. Okay. Yep. Okay. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. We'll start with entitled people. Entitled. I work at a local coffee shop and just had the most entitled customer interaction of my entire life. It's pretty short, but it should be good. This woman, maybe late 40s, comes in 10 minutes before closing and orders a super complicated drink. Half calf, oat, oat milk, extra hot. Why do you want it extra hot? You can't drink it when it's like that. Ugh. 2 pumps of vanilla, 1 pump hazelnut, light foam, in a for here mug. Fine, whatever. I make exactly how she asked. She takes 1 sip and immediately says it's wrong. Says it's not hot enough. How is it not hot enough? They can't even brew the coffee if it's not hot. Says it's not hot enough, even though the steam was literally visible. I offer to remake it again, and she goes, "Well, I don't have time now. I have to get to my yoga class." Ugh. So I'm like, "Okay, sorry about that. Have a good night." She just stares at me. Finally, she says, "Aren't you going to offer me a refund or a free drink card?" I explain the company policy is we can make drinks, but we can't do refunds if the drink was made correctly, which it was. She asked for my manager, 23 female. Absolutely amazing. Comes out and repeats the same policy. Love it when the manager just repeats. It's awesome. No, we can't do that because we can't do that. I feel like something's on me. Where did you go? I'm right here. That did not help. I don't know what's going on. It looks weird on my screen. I don't know. Maybe it looks okay on yours. This woman says, I spent $6 here almost every day, and this is how you treat loyal customers. My manager very calmly points out that she's never seen her before in the 2 years she's worked here. The woman left a 1-star review saying we were hostile to middle aged women and that we need customer service training. I'm just exhausted. Why are people like this? This isn't even that bad. I've had worse interactions, to be honest. A lot of them with men, quite frankly. Men folks. That didn't help either. Admirable Nothing says this was Karen's feeble attempt to get free coffee. Amen. Yep. Yep. She could have had it remade. It would probably still been the same temperature and everything, so it probably wouldn't have made that much difference, to be honest. Flawless Yeti says she's dead inside and only feels anything when she belittles others. You did the right thing. Some people are just hopeless, like this ungrateful biatch. Happy New Year. The OP replies, exactly. I don't know what's wrong with her. And I don't know why there are people like this. Maybe she isn't happy with her life, but it's not too late. New Year's around the corner, and I hope she opens her mind and change for the better. Unlikely. I find that unlikely. Oh, did we read this one? I'm gonna have to check. Sorry, guys. I have to check to see if we read the original one. And my computer's being really slow for some reason, loading things. I don't know why. Maybe that's why my video looks weird too. It says it keeps telling me I'm offline. I'm not offline. So I don't know where it's getting that from. It's apparently Pop Art Day, by the way. Come on, let's go. I should have checked this before because I saw it was an update. Definitely didn't read the update for. Yeah, there we go. Because I already forgot what I was looking for. This is ridiculous. It usually just pops right up. I don't know what's going on. Maybe maybe the cable company is having issues. I don't know. It's not on my end. Everything looks fine here. Let me check. Just done because it's also another tab I have to open. Oh, there we go. Okay, no, I don't see an update. I don't see the original. Hmm. I don't know. Very young. Oh, you know what? Let me do this. Put it in front of me. May not be looking at you. I promise I'm here. It's not making any sense at all. That's not even working for me. So over it. Okay. Oh, I can't find the original. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. All right. So this is an update, and I can't get to the original because they have their post blocked. Update. My brother has been weird. This is what should I do? Sorry. So from what should I do? Update. My brother has been weirdly kind to me for the past few weeks for no reason and won't tell me why. I swear we ran this. I'm not sure. One of my brother's friends finally cracked and told me. Apparently, my brother has been talking to this girl he really likes, and she asked him what his relationship with his family was like. He told her the truth that we were never close and mostly sarcastic to each other. She basically told him that a huge green flag for her. I think you meant red flag. A guy who loves and protects his sister. So this man has been out here trying to change his personality because he wants to impress a girl. I confronted him nicely and he got super embarrassed and admitted it. He said he wasn't trying to manipulate me or anything. He just realized that he should have been a better brother anyway, and talking to her kind of made him reflect on it. That's nice. Even if they don't get together, that's a good outcome. Honestly, I don't even know whether to be annoyed, flattered, or amused. Maybe all three, but at least now I know I'm not dying. He's not dying and the world isn't ending. He's being nice though, so maybe some good came out of the whole thing after all. It says, don't discount it with a cynical assumption. He could very well have genuinely had a perspective shift because of it. That's true. People can, like, if somebody says something just offhand, even, I know it's happened to me. People have said offhand things to me, and I like think, is that true? Is that true? Oh, I think that's true. you know, and I changed my perspective on some things. Not like treating other people differently or anything like that. Just offhand. Go F yourself. Go F yourself. Yeah, go F yourself. I used to bully my brother and wasn't even aware of how much of an a-hole I was being when I was like 12 to 14. One day my dad one day after I made him cry asked me if I wanted my brother to be upset slash hate me, etc. A little conversation and butt chewing. He wasn't mean about it, but stern. Shifted my whole perspective on how I treat people in general, but especially my brother. After I got chewed out, I waited a few days and went and had a heart to heart with my brother without seeming forced because my dad was angry at me. Lots of tears were shed, and I made a simple promise that I'd never bully or punch him again. Now we are very, very close and talk like a daily as adults, hang out regularly, and all that jazz. It really does not take much to shift someone's perspective, so I'm thinking her brother could be genuine. I hope he is. Grimwork says, I wish I could figure this out for my sons. The 14-year-old treats the 8-year-old terribly, calling him an idiot and telling him to shut up. The 8-year-old says he hates me And now he started to fight back, which is both good and bad. I'm glad he's standing up for himself, but it's just causing things to become circular. And when he was the first, and when the firstborn, the older one was so loving and so sweet to him, and his little brother looked up to him. I'm hoping it changes in time, be, but it seems like they blame each other for getting into trouble. 14 and 8 is a pretty large age gap. Although my dad's dad and his brother were the same age gap, and they were very close when they got to be adults. I don't know. I'm pretty sure my uncle was probably really mean to my dad when they were when they were young. Almost positive. They're brothers. What else are you gonna do? Also, my dad was very, very small and the youngest in the crowd because it was a crowd of them and their older cousins. Um, so they used to do things like put him in trees and fling the tree. Oh, I should probably try and find that. There is a clip of somebody doing that. Kids doing that in Africa. I'm like, oh, my dad used to do that, and I sent him the clip. I'm like, look, now I know I drew it there as a kid. But yeah, sometimes something can just say and it'll click with you. And so don't hesitate to say stuff to people if they need it. If they need it done, don't hesitate. It can be just a offhand remark and go, huh, huh, I hadn't thought of that. I've done that to people too. Like I'll make a remark and it's like, oh, I never thought of that before. It's like that person doesn't typically think anyway. So next we have malicious compliance, and it's entitled Mystery Shopping Nonsense. Years ago, when I worked at a major chain convenience store, we had mystery shoppers hired by corporate that would come in and secretly evaluate the store. Employees' pay depended on these evals. Mystery shoppers are kind of not cool. I mean, you're trying to catch people in situations that you create. It's like, I don't know. I don't know where your notebook is, sir. You should know. You should know my schedule, right? Right? Am I wrong? I don't keep track of his stuff. I can barely keep track of my own stuff. All right, next we have malicious compliance entitled Mystery Shopping Nonsense. Years ago, when I worked at a major chain convenience store, we had mystery shoppers hired by corporate that would come in and secretly evaluate the store. Employees' pay depended on these evals. I worked an overnight shift, 10 to 6 a.m. alone. That's important because mystery shopper eval included asinine things like hot fresh coffee and roller grill full, etc. Not having them would cause you to be docked points, thus not get raises. Well, then you should be doing your job. I bet jobs like that. Yeah, still have to do the job. Now, if you ever worked in this kind of job, you know it's just silly those hours of the night when there are few customers. The idea is to balance availability against waste. But after 2 rounds of my day coworkers getting raises and I didn't per stir policy, I didn't make extra coffee or roll items during the night. I spoke to my boss about it. I understand that this is corporate policy, and I also understand there are store policies not to do this at night. What can I do as a night shift to get better evaluation? Something along those lines, not adversarial or anything. Boss told me just make sure you get full points on every line. That is your only job, and handed me another eval list to study. Okay, cue the malicious compliance. For the next couple of weeks, I made sure to make fresh coffee, decaf and regular roast at 10 a.m. when I got or 10 p.m. when I got to work, and fully stock the roller grill, hot dogs, jalapeno sausage, dogs, taquitos. Then at midnight, when exactly none of this stuff had actually sold, I closed the doors and went to stock coolers. This took around an hour, and it's just something that's done on night shift. So at 1 a.m., I would then toss all the roller grill items and pour the coffee down the drain and make 2 fresh pots and restock the grill to reopen the doors. And then at 4, I would dump it all and make fresh because it had been there for 2 hours. The boss called me in and told me as long as I got tens on the other items, I would be getting my raise along with everybody else from then on. Just FFS, stop wasting $100 a night of stuff that doesn't sell. No problem, boss. Thanks. Too bad you didn't notice the issue until it cost your bottom line. Please forget typos. I try to check, but I have fat fingers from a medical condition. I'm using a small smartphone screen outside the cold, humid weather in Texas. Melissa from the lab said, and payback plus raise for the missed raises before. Yeah, for sure. He should have given you a back raise. I hate carrot cake says, is the next top comment. Back when I worked retail, I worked a movie store. We had a secret shopper come in from corporate, and a coworker got a bad score because the movie he suggested to the customer was one she didn't like. That was the only negative mark, and it still failed our store for the secret shop. Wang's secret shoppers, never in all my years of retail were they ever helpful. Vegetable Food says, I've done mystery shopping. Literally every single employee gets full marks for whatever the heck they are supposed to. Ain't no way I'm ratting out a service worker for $15. Faxameme says, I've done secret shopper just once in my life, and it was an event with booths set up at a conference center. I was only there to support my other half as she modeled at a wedding show. Coming in, I was approached to be a secret shopper for $60, knowing I was going to stand around and do nothing for hours. I said, sure. It was hilarious as far as I was concerned. I was a shopper that want to be left TF alone until I asked for help, but that wasn't the job. A perfect rating was essential. WTF. I hated as a customer. Perfect ratings are overrated. Nobody's perfect. Don't expect perfection. 90% would be fine. You're 90% all the time. It's fine. How fast I was approached by the sales, if sales stuck with me the entire time at the booth to answer questions, if they could answer all my questions, and they basically pressured me to buy us to get into a sale. Salespeople in the booth as a whole treated me the way I like to be treated, but failed the secret shopper evaluation because they left me alone like I like it, but if I signaled them and had a question, came right over. I actually only failed one booth out of the ones I visited. That booth had no sales approach me when I came in. They refused to make eye contact with me so I could let them know that I had questions, and in fact, completely ignored the fact that I was in the booth at all, as they all BS'd about something. In all honesty, they probably sized me up at a glance and knew I wasn't a likely buyer, but if they had not acknowledged my presence, I would not have failed them. And then somebody corrected their English. Like, stop it. It's not that important. All right. Next, we have AITAH, entitled AITA for telling my husband that I'm going back on our agreement and I don't care if he cries about it. My husband and I, both 32, have been together since we were 19. Our entire relationship feels like it just blew up in my face, basically, and I can't tell if I'm overreacting. So we both want one child, and we planned for this for years. We wanted everything perfect first: the home, the careers, the savings, the investment, the nest egg. Yeah, you're never having a kid. We had plans too. We had plans to buy a house and then have a kid. We already had our nest egg and everything. Our main goal was to get a house. Got a house when the kid was like 10 months old. Almost 11 months old, actually. And he fell asleep in his pizza. And yes, he was sitting up and eating it, 1 year old. And it was fine. It's the only time he ever fell asleep eating was that day. Okay. The home because we both knew from very early on that once we had a baby, I would be staying home full time and raising our child. His brother's life was unfortunately cut short by a daycare worker when he was just 5 months old back in 2017. Oh, that's so sad. So daycare wasn't an option. Basically, we need to make sure our ducks are in a row so I can stay home and parent full time. Sometimes we do make decisions on things that have happened in our life, and that's okay. That's okay. 2 years ago, we were sitting on $500,000 in investments, a few nest eggs in different types of savings and bonds accounts. We bought the house. We even bought a damn boat. Everything we planned for fell into place finally, and we are starting to try for a baby. We now have a perfect 4-week-old daughter, and I have been out of work since I was 5 months pregnant due to some placenta abruption. But otherwise, everything went fine. Placenta abruption is where the placenta is bleeding, I believe. It's different than placenta previa, which is when the placenta gets when the baby gets in the wrong spot and the placenta grows over the cervix. Placenta abruption. And she was 5 months. Oh, that's rough. Sitting in the hospital, kind of probably trickling bleeding the whole time. Scary. Otherwise, everything went fine. She's perfectly healthy and was a good weight, and I bounced back from the delivery fairly quickly because of how much of a support system my husband was. He did more than his fair share and is, while still working full time. May I say, green flags for the hubby. Which is partially why I cannot tell if I'm being dramatic or if this is hormones or PPD or whatever. I'm legitimately livid. So basically, earlier this afternoon, I get a call from DHHS to go over health insurance options and whether or not the baby is eligible for state insurance based off our income. I'd already given DHHS all this info, social numbers, date of birth, etc. When they called yesterday, it was just waiting for our info and assets to be pulled. If you have that much money, you are not getting anything from DHHS. Why are you even trying? Anyway, she calls and says we aren't eligible because my husband makes too much money and that we'll need to add her to our private insurance. Absolutely no problem at all. I kind of figured anyways, but since she was offhandedly mentions that my husband is making $10,920 monthly gross and that the cutoff for insurance is $7,000. Well, here's the issue. For months, my husband has been telling me he only makes $6,000 a month after taxes. That's a problem. Lying about money is financial abuse. So that is a problem. So I get off the phone and I log into my husband's computer and into his banking, and sure enough, his monthly take home is bordering around $8,500. He's transferring everything over 6,000 into an account I didn't even know existed. So I called him out on it, and he breaks down and tells me that he just wanted something that was only his. So you need $2,000 a month. That's only yours. $2,000 a month. That's a lot of money, sir. Please keep in mind that all of my money has always gone into our joint accounts and that he uses on a daily basis. So he's hiding money from me so he can have his own money while plugging away at mine. Over 45 grand he has sitting in that account. While telling me last week we couldn't have steak dinner because spending $38 on 2 steaks was a waste of money. So I told him I'm putting the baby in daycare and going back to work because obviously I need to safeguard myself if he is hiding money away. Something feels off about it. He instantly started crying, see my above daycare trauma. But I truly just don't trust him financially anymore. I no longer feel secure and said I've changed my mind and I don't care if he cries about it. AITAH. No, you're not. NTA. I mean, I would probably try counseling first, but like I said, this is financial abuse and you can't trust him. And he said you can't trust him. So you can't trust him. You can't trust him. You can't trust him. What is going on with my eye? All right. What's going on with my eye? Don't like it. It doesn't feel good right now. Actually, this one's bothering me more, but this one's redder. Explain it to me. Roadkill Rapunzel says, I love that name. NTA, he doesn't get to have secret financial security set up in case you split up while preventing you from doing the same. He can either dump that 45K into the shared account and give you access to make sure that doesn't happen again, or he needs to realize that he is the reason his baby is in daycare. Top Beat said, yeah, but who knows what else he's hiding. Once trust is gone, it's hard to move forward. For sure. Friedrich something, Friedrich Henry something says you can't put the yolk back into a cracked egg. Yeah. The divorce came out of nowhere on this one. NTA, it appears to me that he's already gone back on your agreement by deceiving you about his finances. If he wanted something that was his, you could have agreed on a separate personal account, as well as just joint account that funds your regular expenses. Why didn't it occur to him that you might want something that was just yours? I wouldn't trust him either. With that kind of money, if he doesn't want your child in daycare, perhaps you could pay for it out of his funds that he's been hiding, whatever the extra would be for a nanny. Added, in view of the nanny problems that people discussed, he can spring for nanny cams while he's at it. Yeah. All he had to do was come to her and say, I want to put away a little money that I don't have to ask you about spending. That's all he had to do. Here's the Nervous from Hell, and it's an update, so I gotta go look for the original. Do I have the original handy? No, they do not. No. Oops, that was not what I meant to do. Okay. Okay. I don't think we read this one. All right, this is Neighbors from Hell entitled Upstairs Kids Constantly Stomping in Studio Apartment. Hi, I never post on Reddit, but my partner and I really need advice. We live in a crappy 350 square foot studio apartment in Connecticut. It is definitely overpriced for what it is, but it is all we can afford right now. It's the cheapest apartment complex in the area. We used to have upstairs neighbors who were loud sometimes, but it was nothing we couldn't handle. We are very lenient when it comes to noise. About a month ago, new people moved in above us. We first heard kids running and screaming in the halls, and then we started hearing the same voices directly over our apartment. That's when we realized a family of four moved into the 350 square foot studio above us. There's not even a spare bedroom. It's true zero bedroom, fully open concept. At first, we felt bad, assuming things would calm down. That sounds like a call to CPS to me. Kids need bedrooms. Kids need privacy. Adults need privacy. We genuinely understand that times are tough and we're in a similar boat ourselves. We've never had any complaints while living here, and we never have any issues with anyone else in the building. We actually have a good relationship with the neighbors on our floor, and everyone gets along fine. Because of that, we are really trying to be patient to give this family the benefit of the doubt. However, it's been over a month and there's constant stopping, running, jumping, bouncing balls, and constant furniture movement from 8 a.m. and sometimes until sometimes midnight. Yeah, that's too much activity. Too much activity. These kids not take a nap? They're not go to bed by like 8, 9 o'clock? They should be going to bed at 7, honestly. They drop heavy things on the floor and it shakes our entire apartment. The painting even fell off the wall from how hard the impacts were. Sometimes it genuinely sounds like they're going to fall through the ceiling. I lived in college dorm before this. It was never anywhere near this loud. Our phones pick up the sound through the ceiling. We both sleep with two fans for white noise, and it does nothing because the vibrations cut through everything. Every night around 11, they drag the beds out, and every morning around 8, they drag them back up. That is not enough sleep for little kids at all. That's barely enough sleep for me. The kids run and jump all day unless they leave. You can always tell when they get back home because it starts up immediately. I've nicely emailed our rent manager about it over a week ago and never got a reply. Last night, the banging went on till midnight, and I finally reached my breaking point. Today, I called management. The woman on the phone sounded super annoyed and asked if I had already called last week. I told her no, that I was following up on the email and never received a response to. She said it was strange I did not hear back and told me they send out generic noise letters to everyone in the building. She said not to be surprised if we get one too and to ignore it. She tried to explain that this is not normal noise and that our entire apartment shakes. She basically told me she hoped the letter would make them stop. It has not. The banging has been going on all day, once again. I'm not even looking for them to move out. We are also not in a position to move either. I just need ways to cope or at least get the manager to take this more seriously. To be fair, a rental company is known to suck, so I guess I should have expected this kind of response from them. Any advice is welcome. Okay, first of all, never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, send out a blanket complaint to everyone when one person is the problem. Address the person or people directly that are the problem. Absolutely hated getting emails. I don't know if they pertain to me or not. How am I supposed to know? You sent this to everybody. How am I supposed to know if I'm the person that's the problem? Chicken Head is a top rated comment and says, record the noises like out a camera and show it to management. Smiley says, and use an air horn at 4:30 on weekends to get the kids up and annoy the parents. Patient couple says, no, 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 do it 30 minutes after the little rugrats fall asleep. As a parent myself, that would be a much greater punishment. Yeah, because at 4 a.m., they're just going to roll right back to sleep. But if you do it half an hour after they fall asleep, they're not really that deeply sleeping. Big Cranberry is the next top rated comment. And they say, I was in the exact same situation as you back in 2013. My blood pressure rose just reading your post, and I got a shot of adrenaline thinking how it takes over your whole life. I cut out I hung out at the Y a lot, just did homework and watched TV over there until I had to go home and listen to all their unbelievable amount of noise. I tried talking directly to the neighbor to be nice. She got defensive and nothing changed except her attitude. She eventually got kicked out for reasons unrelated to me, and I didn't give one single crap based on how she treated everyone and the fact that she smoked in the hallways in a smoke free building. Best day ever. Sorry you're going through this. Southern Outer Space says they may not even be able to have that many people in a studio apartment. Even one bedroom apartments don't allow that many people um, in some areas. And another one says, what about housing codes? Local occupancy rates. I would definitely check out the occupancy rates. Sam says, I just looked and state regulation in Connecticut state that two people can legally live in a 350 square foot studio. So it's her and one kid, and that kid's a resident. Noise. 150 feet for the first, 100 foot for the second. So report them. If they are interested in skating by illegally stuffing so many people into a small space, they would be more discreet. I know it's hard to keep kids quiet, but that's what parks are for. At the very least, they should be keeping them quiet from 10 p.m. That's true. 9 p.m. really. They should be in bed by 9 or 10 p.m. They're little kids. You have a right to be under siege in a place you pay, especially if they're getting up at 8. They should be in bed by 9 or 10 p.m. They're getting up later, that varies. Depends on your family. I don't think management cares. You may need to go into code enforcement. You can call 211 to be sure. They might even connect you to the right agency. Okay, so the update. It got worse and we had to call the cops. So we've been reading through all of your advice, and for now we decided to wait and see whether the noise complaints the management sent out have any effect. For the first 2 days after they were delivered, things actually did seem quieter, but then it went back to the usual level of noise. Throughout the time we've been dealing with these people, I've also had all 3 fans on and just assumed the kids were playing and laughing. But lately we've actually been taking time to stop, turn off all the fans, and really listen. What we're hearing now is definitely not just kids playing. Uh-oh. We're hearing loud arguing, slamming, crying, banging, stomping, what sounds like full-on fights happening above us. It's been going on for the last few days, and we're starting to think maybe this had been happening all along. We just chalked it up to kids stomping, playing, or running around because I never turned the fans off long enough to really hear what was going on beyond the banging. Is it summer? No, it's 2 months ago. It's winter. Why do you have fans on all the time? Last night, oops, sorry. There we go. Last night, the noise was the worst it's ever been. There was repeated stomping, banging, slamming, and yelling from both the kids, who I assume are the parents, and okay, start up. Repeat. Last night, the noise was the worst it's ever been. There was repeated banging, slamming, and yelling from both of the kids and who I assume were the parents literally all day, nonstop. It was getting to the point where there was generally draining. My partner and I finally got curious and decided to take a walk on the second floor to see what it sounded like from the hallway. Before I even stepped onto the second floor, I could already hear them from the stairwell. You could hear loud fighting back and forth, the kids stomping and running while yelling, and the TV blasting on top of everything. It honestly sounded like there might be even more than 4 people in that unit. We heard extra voices and definitely what sounded like a baby crying at one point. Unfortunately, I couldn't understand most of it since I don't speak Spanish, but it was booming through the entire hallway. We were shocked how loud it was, but we went back to our apartment and another email to management explaining how bad things have gotten. I told them I've been recording everything for documentation. I even referenced our lease to our right to enjoy quiet enjoyment. I also brought up the fact that we never received the noise notice they claim they sent out. Either management never sent it or the upstairs neighbor received it and just didn't care, because the situation is only getting worse. Considering management has ignored my last two emails and sounded annoyed when I called, we were honestly just trying to figure out what to do next. After we sent the email, we were basically stuck just sitting there waiting and dealing with the banging. The management office is closed on weekends, so our plan was to call first thing Monday morning to follow up. But instead of letting up, the noise somehow got even worse. The banging and slapping kept escalating, slam, slam, bang, slam, with the kids scream, crying, and more yelling. By this time, we were starting to get genuinely concerned. My partner then left our apartment to go back upstairs and knock on the door to politely ask if they could quiet down. But when he went upstairs the second time, he heard one of the young, younger children crying in a shrill, high-pitched scream, crying unbelievably hard, and then we both made out the dad yelling, "Shut up," and then there was more slamming echoing through the hallway. He managed to get a recording of it. It didn't sound like a normal tantrum at all. After hearing that, he didn't feel comfortable knocking on the door. Came straight back downstairs. I could hear it from our inside our apartment too. We came to the conclusion there might be something seriously wrong going on, so we called for an anonymous wellness check to the non-emergency line for our city. The guy who picked up the phone was extremely understanding and sent a guy out right away, since from what we described, better safe than sorry. We were able to kind of make out when the cop arrived, and the moment they left, everything escalated even further. The kids' crying was unbearable, the banging and slamming were relentless, and the arguing and screaming back and forth never stopped. It honestly felt far worse than before we'd called. It got to the point where we started questioning ourselves, wondering if we were even hearing things right or if the cop had actually come at all. After an hour of this, my partner called the non emergency line one more time just to confirm that the cop had actually come out, since it sounded like the situation was getting worse up there. To our surprise, he had. The operator asked if the noise was still ongoing, and we confirmed that it was just as bad, if not worse, than before. They decided it was appropriate to send another officer to check. About 15 minutes later, the cop arrived. This time we were able to clearly tell when he got there. We heard the door to the upstairs unit open, the kids scream echoing through the stairway, the knock on the door, and then quiet, followed by the cop opening the door to leave. After the second call, they finally settled down, but now I'm just like, Wang. I'd already sent an email to the management before all this craziness started, and I feel bad continually bothering them because I don't want to make it an issue. But this is way beyond normal noise. It's completely unmanageable, and it's honestly starting to feel unsafe. Hearing what was happening upstairs genuinely made us anxious. We're both at kind of a loss because we want management to take this seriously. We thought about switching units or transferring to an upstairs apartment, but I'm not sure if anything is available. From when we did our walkthrough, it seems like units may all be taken, and now I don't know if I even want to be in the same hall as these people. What would you guys do in this situation? Any advice? Never dealt with this before, let alone calling the cops, and I feel pretty guilty about it. I don't know. I might call CPS. Edit on 212. This was, don't know. Edit on 12/7, so it was obviously earlier than that. Hello, all. Thank you much for all your incredible, helpful advice and comments. It has definitely been an upsetting situation. We did end up submitting an anonymous report to CPS. What comes of that, we aren't sure. I hope something good comes of it. We're also emailing the management company with all the details of last night and the recordings. My partner is also going to call and follow up first thing in the morning with our rental company. We're also checking into potential code or occupancy violations with the above unit. Thank you to everyone who shared advice on who to reach out to. We keep recording what's happening and will continue to call the police whenever we hear concerning activity. I wouldn't call them on emergency line. I'd call the emergency line and say, listen, I think some kids are getting beat upstairs. Lie if you have to. I mean, you don't know what's going on. Some kid could be getting beat. If he tells them to shut up and it gets worse, yeah. Environmental says any management company that runs a 350-foot apartment to 4 people does not care about anyone's rights as long as they get paid. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to go back and see if there's another update. No, there's only the 2. But yeah, that sounds like a bad situation, and it sounds like somebody could be really hurt. Um, I hope nothing happens, and I hope they get it fixed. But calling CPS was a good idea. Wellness check. I wonder what the cops said. I wonder why they leave right away. Because usually when the cops leave right away, it seems like it just gets worse. They should like stand outside the door for a while, for at least half an hour before they actually leave. Do your paperwork right there, sir. Next, we have benign existence, and it's entitled I Lie Every Day, and I don't feel bad about it at all. I realized earlier today that I'm a huge liar. I basically bald faced lie every day. Example, my dog saw a squirrel in the backyard and went rocketing off after it. When he came back inside, I told him, Wow, good job, buddy. You almost caught him. But really, my dog was nowhere near that squirrel. Lies. Another example, my cat came into my office dragging one of her strings. I told her she was an amazing hunter and assured her that we will all feast on the strings tonight. Lies. I have no intention of eating string, and that was probably pretty easy to catch. I also tell my dog he is the cutest puppy ever, and then I turn around and tell my other dog the same thing. More lies. How can they both be the cutest? Neither of them are puppies. Yet my pants have never caught on fire. More lies. I love it. This is the way people should lie. If you feel the need to lie, lie like this guy. Am I dead yet says is the top rated comment, and it says, All right, put a silly grin on my face. I tell my dog that he's the best employee at the squirrel screaming factory. I had to try to convince him that he should take fewer shifts. That we as a family don't need him to work so hard to support us. I really just wanted to stop screaming at the squirrel. It just makes him so happy. The LP says, I often call my youngest dog my office manager, but that one is no lie. I work from home and he has my schedule memorized. So if I'm late going to lunch or late quitting my shift, he comes and paws at me. He's really big on work life balance. I appreciate having such a considerate office manager. Oh, and then everybody's just talking about how they lie to their pets. Now we have evil buildings. This is the Centennial Memorial Tower in a forest east of central Sapporo, Hokkaido, Hokkaido, Japan. I just pronounce it like I sees it. I don't know if it's correct. And there it be. Giant building. And it does give off evil vibes. It looks more like it's memorializing the Galactic Empire. Just No Mill, entitled Why I Now Hide Spare Keys Everywhere. Just reminiscing about that one summer's day when I accidentally locked myself out of the house barefoot with my 1-year-old. Oh, that sucks. That stinks. I luckily have never managed to do that, shockingly. Yeah, very shockingly. Car used to leave the keys in the car all the time. I used to carry a purse too. This was before phones. Now I carry everything in my phone and I don't need anything else. But I used to carry a coat hanger in my purse because I would lock myself out of my own car all the time. I got real good at Jimmy and locks, Jimmy and car door locks. I called my mother-in-law, holder of the sacred spare key. Mind you, she was already meant to be coming over to my house later. Ladies and gentlemen, she said no. No. Because she hadn't showered yet and something about not sure where she kept my spare key. I said to her, okay. She says, okay, we disconnect the call. So there I was, melting in the driveway like forgotten ice cream, toddler on my lap, pondering the absurdity of that conversation. How did I get back inside, you ask? Well, I called my mom at work, who called my dad's work. I did not have that number. Dad left work, drove home, fetched the spare key, drove it to me, saved the day, and then drove back to work like an unwitting courier. Total wait time, 30 minutes. I only turned half a shade darker in that time. Roughly 90 minutes after that, my mother-in-law casually wandered over. Folks, not a single question about how I got back into the house. Honestly, that level of I do not give a damn is almost aspirational. It's giving Olympic level detachment. Yeah, so that's why I hide spare keys everywhere. Yeah. Um if my daughter-in-law called me and said, "Hey, you have a spare key and I'm locked out of the house," especially even now, and she doesn't have a 6-month-old anymore. I don't care what I was doing, and I'd hightail my butt over there and let her in the house. That's ridiculous. Chili Romano says you should have locked her out. She should have. Icy Blue Dragon is the second most uh, top rated comment. I locked myself out when my mother in law was taking my toddler for a walk. My neighbors and their son broke down the door via short circuiting my door opener. At the time the door opened, half the neighborhood was watching and someone even brought beer. I felt like I was on hidden camera. Psychologically automatic says you should take the key back from mother-in-law since it wasn't available during its intended purpose, getting into your home during an emergency. Yes. Why didn't her mom come though? That's what I'm curious about. Because she could have less work too. Print says I have been locked out of my home by my own mother-in-law on occasions. The first time I went onto the porch to water flowers and chatted with my neighbor in my driveway. She was outside maybe 5 minutes. I was outside maybe 5 minutes and she didn't know where I went, so she locked the door. Why would you do that? That's weird. She has locked me out while I'm working out in my garage multiple times to the point where I grab my car keys when she's there. The last time my father in law and husband had left and she didn't come to the door when I was knocking because she wasn't sure who was there and didn't feel comfortable opening the door. Who else would it be? Like, seriously, lady. I had to call my husband to call her and tell her bitch butt to get off the couch and let me in my own house. I wanted to round kick her when she finally let me in. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Why are people so ridiculous? I do not get it. Next, we have Retail Hell, and it is entitled No, Flipping Over My Cash Register Close Sign Won't Help Me, won't keep me open. Let's go to a different aisle or go to self checkout. Gosh. My shift finished at 3 p.m. The time is 3:03 p.m. and I'm scanning the last few items for a lovely customer. We were making jokes about what cool beverages we'd be consuming during the festive season. And this Kevin takes my register sign, close sign, puts all of his stuff on the belt, and then puts it down again. Nope. When I point out that I'm closed, Kevin replies, "You can close when you've served me." No, no, I am not your servant, sir. You're not paying me. Not one to miss an opportunity with these entitled wangs. I state that I'm finished and the next cashier on this lane is due in at 3:15 and that Kevin is welcome to wait. I will complain to corporate and have you fired, responds Kevin. And the proper way to handle that is, no, sir, she was closed and you can wait till the next one or go to a different aisle. So you're going to have me fired because I didn't serve you when you removed my close sign and demanded to be served after my shift end time? Go right ahead. Well, Kevin didn't like that one a bit and begins to play with the victim card, and all the other registers are open but have long queues and that he's in a rush. So I point out that 2 of our 10 SCOs, I assume that's self checkout. Yeah, self checkout are free. But of course, it comes down to the typical I'm not going to do your job. Sir, I am off. And there's nothing worse than a s she wasn't even off the clock. I have been off the clock and people have demanded things of me, and I'm like, "No, sir, I'm not doing that. You can go around." It was a door issue. Like, I went out a back door, which no one except employees should be using, employees and vendors. And they're like, "Oh, you have to let me in." No, I don't know who you are, and I am not scanning you in. You can go around and you can call the nurse because it was at a health facility. You can go around to the front door and call. There's a phone there for you to call the nurse to let you in. That's okay, Kevin. My job finished 5 minutes ago, and you could have been out of here by now if you'd used the self checkout. But I guess you'll have to wait till the next cashier arrives. At that moment, I hit the log off button, take my till, and proceed to the cash room. as a disappointed Kevin stands at the express lane behind 5 customers, whilst another two self checkouts are now free. I get this time of year is quite hectic, but I've got places to be, just like you, Kevin. RJ says, I do not know you, but Kevin, I hate you with every fiber of my being. Prudent Salamander says, this just made me wonder how many of my friends and associates are Kevin's, and I just don't know it because I've never seen them interact with the services. True. Oh, Affectionate Leak says, I have never met a Kevin, and yet I hate him too. Autumn the Witch says, I feel bad for anyone actually named Kevin. I've never met a Kevin, including my own dad, that wasn't a truly friendly person all around. GTPL is the same for ladies named Karen. I've known a few who've been total sweethearts. I only know of one person named Karen that's an actual Karen. And I know several people named Karen. They're very nice people. Yes, I have a cousin Karen and a coworker Kevin, both very sweet. Neither deserve to have their name hijacked and turned into something terrible, but here we are. Debbie's? Yeah, Debbie's. Debbie's can be quite r/infuriating, entitled What Happened? And it's a meme, so I'll share it. Leisha writes, just one lifetime ago in the United States, our grandfathers could buy a home, buy a car, and have 3 to 4 children, keep their wives at home, take annual vacations, and then retire, all on one middle class salary. What happened? Oh, I can tell you what happened. I can tell you there's this guy named Jack, and he worked for General Electric, and he is the reason that happened. He is the sole reason that happened because they figured out if they laid people off, then the shareholders would give them more money because it would look good on their bottom line if they had less salary. And that's what happened. That made a cascade of other things, domino effect. It just got worse and worse and worse. That's what happened. And I'm one of the Joneses. All the people that came before me had all of that, and I had none of it. Well, I mean, the education wasn't bad when I was still in the 80s, but by the 90s, it was starting to get bad. Because in the 80s, you could have a part-time job and pay for your college tuition, room and board, everything on a part-time job. And that's the way it should be. Next, we have Petty Revenge. It's entitled, Leave My Leaves Alone. My neighbor is a typical curmudgeon-y old man. He loathes the fact that I do not rake my leaves. Yay, pollinators. He tells anyone who will listen how much he hates it. Even the mailman said, wow, that guy does not like you. My leaves do not touch his yard at all. We are separated by a chain link fence. The wind can't even blow them into his space. They have zero effect on his life. Yesterday I got home. All of my leaves that could be seen from his window had been raked into a pile around the corner of my house. That's trespassing, sir. Another neighbor said she saw him in my yard raking them. Me, being quite curmudgeonly myself, waited until after dark, snuck out, and put all my leaves back where they belong. This morning, the old guy walked outside for his morning smoke, stopped, stared, and started cussing. It was glorious. Susan says, I would be fuming if someone cleared my leaves as the hedgehogs who live in my garden collect them for their nests. Spooky Goopy says, and fireflies need leaf litter for their eggs. People wonder why they barely see any fireflies during the summer anymore. It's because some homes are large patches of one kind of plant. The same is happening with honeybees. Haven't seen a honeybee in a long time, and it's heartbreaking. I have honeybees. Actually, I can see from right here. Can I see it? Yep, I can see from right here. The hives my neighbor has. My neighbor has hives. We have all kinds of fireflies, lightning bugs, as we call them in the winter, or in the summer, I mean. All kinds of them. They're beautiful. I love them. But I also have a wooded area near me, and they're probably laying down in there. probably putting their eggs in there. And that's fine with me. I don't really have a lot of tree coverage in the yard, but my uh, whole yard is surrounded by trees. I can't see my neighbors in the summertime at all. Um, so yeah, they have plenty of space here, and the deer. Deer, in case you were unaware, are not forest animals. They are forest edge animals. So when we came in and cut down all the forests for fields to make fields for planting, we actually upped the deer population by doing that because that's where they like to live. They like to live on the edge of the forest. So if you have a treat area between two um, non-treat areas, that's where the deer will live, and they do. They live right out. They live on that side, and they've been sleeping out here between the my neighbors are right. My back door neighbors. There's a tree line between us, and that's where the deer like to sleep, right in the tree line between us. Used to be a this whole area used to be a Christmas tree farm, and so we have some natural growing pines or pines. I don't know. Maybe they're not natural. Yeah, they gotta be. Not all of those were planted. They're not in rows, but they grow up. The pines grow up between our houses. I did not know that about the needing leaf litter for fireflies, but I'll definitely be leaving more leaves in the yard. Actually, if we mow it, the leaves get messed up. But there's also, other areas, so it's fine. It's all fine. Next we have Am I the Jerk? And it is entitled AITJ for refusing to let my friend order for the table after he kept ignoring my food preferences. Why would your friend order for the table anyway? It's weird. Last week, a few friends and I went out to a small tapas place, nothing fancy, just loud and busy. One of my friends, Max, likes to be the planner in every situation. He grabbed the menu and started saying we should just do it family style, and he'd order a bunch of plates for everyone. And at first, I was like, sure, that's fine. The issue is I'm vegetarian, not in a preachy way, I just don't eat meat. And everyone knows, excuse me, and everyone here knows that because we've eaten together a lot. Max kept picking dishes that were clearly meat heavy. And when I reminded him, he did this little laugh like, yeah, yeah, there will be something for you, and kept going. When the food came, it was basically all meat plus one sad tomato salad. I was annoyed but tried to keep it chill. So when the server came back, I ordered two extra veggie plates just for me and another friend who was also wasn't into meat. Max noticed and got mad that I undermined him. He said I was making it awkward and acting like a picky child in front of the server. No, sir. Whether she doesn't eat to meat, did you ever think about that? Because if you have Lyme disease, you can get allergic to meat. Get allergic to meat, which would be horrible. I like my meats. I like my meats. But if somebody is vegetarian, I try to accommodate them by having at least a meal, a vegetarian meal for them to eat. And I have several vegetarian relatives. My daughter tried to go vegetarian once as a kid. It didn't work, but I bought stuff for her to eat. She never ate it. It was really annoying. She got very slim because she wouldn't eat what I gave her, what I bought for her. She wouldn't buy her own food. She was in like middle school. She wasn't very old. Like I think 12, 11, 12, 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. So she grew out of it. My niece did not grow out of it. She's still vegetarian, and that's fine. Her kids are not, which is kind of weird. She's also a doctor. I think she knows what to do. I snapped and said if he wants to play host, he should actually listen to people because ordering for the table isn't a personality trait. The rest of the night he was tense, and now a couple of friends are saying I should have just eaten the salad and not called him out. Am I the jerk? No. You should have been called out. Top Connor Spartan. Hey Sparty, how you doing? Awesome. I'm close to Spartan territory if you consider the Michigan State University Spartan territory. That's where my daughter goes to college. NTJ, your friend ignored your very reasonable request. You may need to reevaluate your friendship with Max. He's so insecure and controlling that he can't tolerate friends who eat different foods than him. That insecurity and control will certainly show up in other areas too. Dramatic Aunt said Max is a culinary bully. Ditch him and remove him from your friend roster. Somebody I can't pronounce says, let's not forget the other friends that told him they shouldn't have raised a fuss. Heck with that. None of your friends are friends. Be well from an omnivore. Yeah. If somebody was doing that to my friend and then my friend was vegetarian for whatever reason they want to be, whether it's a moral choice, a physical choice, physical is not really a choice, is it? It doesn't matter. If they're experimenting with it, it doesn't matter. I would stand up for them and say, listen, we have vegetarians here, or at least one. You need to order something that they can eat. People are just so mean. Now, I might tease you about being a vegetarian, but that's a whole different thing. C Leadership says, NTA and I would have only paid for the 2 dishes you ordered and half the salad. They must have had a typo. Yeah, as it got edited. Um, the answer was never play with your food in public, regardless of who pays for it. They should probably put NTI would have only played for the 2 dishes. She's not playing with her food. She's playing for her food. NTA, mindless Beniba says, NTA, your food choices were ignored and you have every right in order to order for yourself. Max made it tense by acting like a child. Yes, exactly. Expectation versus reality. Okay. Do it like this. Yeah, my mouse. I'm telling you. Nope, that's not the right one. I did the wrong one. There we go. Okay, so it's entitled Expectation versus Reality. It's entitled Expected a Hideous Plastic Mess, but got a rather nice product instead. So exceeded expectation. Like many of us, I've been trying to warn my middle aged mom about AI product listing so she doesn't get scammed. I showed her the glass geode mugs in this book mug as examples. You can imagine how I felt opening a box and seeing a book stack mug in. So I just ordered that. Oh, that's cute. I really like. I want that. That's super cute. Look at it. Is that what they ordered? Is that what they got? Now I'm confused. I'm confused. My mom put a lot of effort into me. Can see imagine how I felt opening a box and seeing a book stack mug in bubble wrap. However, I was ple- pleasingly surprised to find it was an actual glass mug. My mom put a lot of effort into getting me a mug that wasn't a heinous lump of plastic. I'm proud of her thoroughness and discernment, and definitely a little wonky, but I think it's pretty neat. Oh, this must be she got it backwards. That was the end product. The molasses says it's a classic bait and switch to use AI to make a crappy picture of the product and then deliver something that's really not. Wait a second, that's not how it's supposed to work. And then somebody put a Men in Tights. If you haven't seen Men in Tights, you should watch that one. Men in Tights with Carrie Ellis. Robin Hood Men in Tights. You should watch that. It's hilarious. Hysterical. It's hysterical. I love that movie. Actually, I love Carrie Ellis. He's awesome. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, family, and your enemies. All of your enemies, every one of them. They need to learn how to behave. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled Submission. If you would like a link to the day's current live, send an email entitled Subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. And the email address is also in the description. I did want to address one thing about Minnesota because we can't stop talking about Minnesota. And we shouldn't stop talking about Minnesota because things are hysterical there. It's ridiculous. So I'm sure you have seen, and I forgot his little name. I forgot that little turkey's name. The little boy with the hat with the ears. He's adorable. He's adorable. He's a little 5-year-old. He and his father are in ICE custody right now. They are trying to claim that the little boy is here illegally. The parents, both parents, came over legally using the app that people seeking asylum are supposed to use now, even though our laws say something totally different. Stupid Supreme Court. Yeah, the law says that anyone can enter the country undocumented, and they have up to a year to seek asylum. If they don't get the asylum cases, then they will be deported, and that's fine. That's how it should work. In the meantime, they get a card, they can work, and etc. So ICE is trying to claim that this child is here illegally, even though port of entry. You really think that both of his parents used the app, came over legally, and the kid didn't? Like, really? Like, come on, be for real. He's in a detention center, and I think Texas. I want to say Texas. I'm not sure. It's a family when they're using for family detention. Should he be there? No, no, he should not. Nor should his parent. Why is his parent in there if he's here legally? Stop it. Stop doing this. It's ridiculous. This is not a country that I want to live in. It's a country that you want to live in right now. Because if you do, you can leave and go get your own country. I'm done with you. Next, we have Zillow Gone Wild, our real estate. And this time I will remember to share the stupid thing with you. Unlike yesterday when I failed. There it is. This is $3.5 million, 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4,472 square feet. And it is a houseboat. Is that a houseboat? Because it's in the water. Does it float? I don't know. It seems to be connected somehow. Is that even actually a house? It looks like it's in a park of some sort. So I am confused. Natural speedboat. It looks so cool. Like, I would like that. I wouldn't want people staring at me on the beach. 15996. Yeah, that's cool. Got your hot tub. Look at that. Your own little port inside your house. I don't think I would be sitting out there, though. It's kind of weird. Another porch. Down here. Where do you park? Or do you just float in? Do you float in, or can you park near your house? Because that seems like a really long way to move garbage. Or do you have to park your car somewhere else and then boat in? Because that seems like a pain in the butt too. And how do you get things delivered? How does delivery work? I have so many questions. You all know how I feel about white kitchens. It's way too white. That kitchen, but these lights, that's like my house. My house has those types of lights all over, and that many too. And this means they have a built-in speaker. The speaker up in the, I have that too. My house was built by the previous owners. The brother did all the electronics. He messed all the electric and stuff. He messed up some stuff. The thing doesn't work all the time. I do not like dishwasher in the middle island. I like the sink there. I don't think I would want the dishwasher and disposal. I'm assuming that's a disposal. There. Very open floor plan for sure. I like that. Are those warmers or the other ovens? Because that would be cool. I don't know, space in my kitchen to do stuff like that. My kitchen space is actually very small. The fridge is probably here, where these two longer panels are. That's probably the fridge doors right there, if you're wondering. Bedroom. I like that bed. That's pretty cool. Oh, look, the birdies on the bed. Snow White lives. No, Cinderella. Maybe both. Maybe Snow White and Cinderella live in this house. It's very bird themed. There's a birdie over here on the lamp. And there's a birdie on the dresser. And are there's birds on top of the lamps? Oh my goodness. Somebody likes some birds. They shouldn't though. The birds eat the fish. It's carpeted like a normal house. Nice. Lamp with the projector. Oh, I want that for my theater room. We are putting in a kind of a theater room. I want that. I want that sign. Ours is going to be a little more steampunk, I think, decoration wise. And we have some really cool decorations to put in it. We have a panel from the original Babylon 5 ship that lights up. We're going to put that on the wall. It's going to be so cool. Another bird, an owl. You're scaring the fish away with that owl. I don't think it's a houseboat. It's just like really way out there in the water, which I don't think I'd like because you can get flooded eventually. No, here's the garage. Can't tell where it's at. You do have a mule. Is this another kitchen? That's strange. Bathroom. Bedroom, I mean. This is like a little studio apartment in the house. Interesting. Mother-in-law's quarters. That's your little water garage. Where's your regular garage at? I've already seen this room. Overhead door. Highly recommended, by the way. Our overhead door guy is good. Oh, here's the regular garage. It may be the mother-in-law's apartment. So you have to drive all the way down there in the mule to get your, I guess at least you'll get your So you can't see the garage from here. Is it way up there? Don't know. There are other houses around. There's another one over here in the water. It's rather interesting for sure. And there's top shot. Oh, that's the garage there. Think. Don't quote me on that because I don't know for sure. It's nice. You've got $3.5 million you can spend on a house. I'm afraid to ask what the taxes are. Let's go find out. We gotta check the taxes on this. Waterfront on Lake Tyler. This is in Tyler, Texas. 6 acre, 5.96 acre property, which is nice. 715 square or feet of shoreline with a concrete bulkhead and a scenic sidewalk running along the water's edge. Panoramic view on open water and private sand beach. The only one of its kind in Lake Tyler. 5,811 square feet under roof high-end boathouse designed for luxurious living and entertainment. So it is considered a boathouse, I guess. Heated and cooled 3-car garage is 1,760 square feet and ADI compliant guest quarters. Only 7,470 square feet under roof for guests or income. They have a bunch of stuff. They have bidets. Now I really want it. 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 3 full bathrooms, 1 half bath. Family room, 3 living areas, and a media room. I want it because it has a bidet in it. That's the only reason I want it. That's too much wet for me. I love me shorefront. Don't get me wrong. Grew up near a lake. My family owns 3/4 of a lake front, little small lake. I'll put it this way: the jet skis would not be allowed on our lake. Materials are stone stucco. The foundation is a slab. There's cable available. They're asking way over estimate. Taxes are $20,000 a year. $20,000 a year, sir. All right. Palate cleanser's done. Next, we have Traumatize Them Back, entitled, Oh, You're Into Necrophilia? And it's flared, Blunt Force Traumatized Them Back. So when I was 7, my mom died from cancer. Oh, I'm sorry, OP. That stinks. That stinks so bad. I can't even imagine. Of course, not everyone in school knows this. I usually give people courtesy of not knowing before letting loose. I was never the kind of kid to get pissed at our mom jokes because I knew they were usually in good fun and didn't actually mean anything, usually turning into a dead mom joke with my response. Example, your mom was so fat she got arrested for carrying 50 pounds of crack. Me, only fat thing about my mom is the jar she in. This usually got a few shocked faces before anyone would laugh, realizing I wasn't getting mad about someone talking about my dead mom. After the initial shock of the first few jokes, everyone got into it and became its own thing, finding new mom jokes to say to me to see what I would say next. Just seems kind of clever. That's cool. There was one boy who I called Dee. No one really liked Dee. He was very entitled and rude, and on top of that, his father had the same reputation, so no one really liked the family. It was basically a family of Karens. He was always causing problems with other kids, and usually it was the antagonist when a fight broke out. He would tell on someone to get them into trouble after doing the same thing, etc. He transferred to school a few years after my mom's death, so he had no idea. He also didn't spend enough time with my friend group to realize that the your mom jokes they were making were dead mom jokes. The specific incident took place in like 5th or 6th grade. Dee was pissing everyone off that day, just antagonizing everyone, looking for a reaction, if I had to guess. Sounds like a kid that wasn't getting enough attention at home. Eventually, I got into the mix of insults when he turns to me and said something along the lines of, I wanged your mom so good last night she was screaming my name all night. All of my classmates knew my mom was dead and knew what was coming next. They all got quiet and looked at me. I looked at him with fake surprise and said, "Oh, you're into necrophilia then? What's it like wanging ashes? I don't think that would even feel good, but if that's what you like, don't 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 ick on his yum." His face got so red as he realized his wanged up way of talking about someone's dead mom. He started backtracking, trying to say he meant my grandma, but everyone knew my family situation and the person I called mom was actually grandma, and pointed out that she's my grandma and is dead, and my mom is dead, and he was still wanging a dead body. They started calling him a necrophiliac, saying he's horrible for saying such things about someone's dead mom, even though everyone says similar things, but it was in good fun and not trying to be an ass like Dee Dee. And gave him a new nickname. It was Dusty Dick. For a few days before his family threw a crap fit about bullying and the teachers had to intervene. We still called him Dusty Dick just in private so we wouldn't get in trouble and he couldn't tell on us. Oh, Dusty Dick is awesome. Oh, that's great. Good fun. Good on you for having a sense of humor and a way to bully back. You got to bully back the bullies. That's the only way they learn because they don't really care about feelings except for their own. This is confession, and it is entitled I Am an Adult Who Still Naps with Their Adult Children. I'm 54, and every holidays when my kids come home, we end up cramming together in this oversized double recliner, taking naps like we did when they were little. It's not some big emotional tradition or anything, it just kind of happens. They sit down, I sit down, someone throws a blanket over us, next thing we know, we're out. They're adults with real lives, work, stress, relationships, all of it. But when they're here, there's a strange sense of calm. No one's trying to prove anything. Nobody is on. We just exist together for a while, breathing, warm, comfortable, normal in the way the world comes rarely feels anymore. And yeah, I think about the fact that one day they might stop doing it. Life changes, people get busy, traditions fade. But so when it happens, I just take it in and appreciate it without making it weird or dramatic. I do not talk about it with them. I don't make a big speech about family or memories. I just enjoy it because it feels right. They joke about it sometimes. They say we're too old for it, but they still curl up anyway, which tells me they probably need it as much as I do. Even if none of us actually says that out loud, I'm tearing up. That is it. Nothing wild, just a dad who haps with his grown children on the holidays. It makes me happy in a simple way that I'm grateful it still happens. Your babies are your babies their whole life. Doesn't matter how old they are. I'm a mom of three, 27, 17, and 13, and I will nap and cuddle any of my babies anytime. That's the love of a parent and a child. Yeah, I still cuddle. Once in a while, if the chair is big enough, I will grab a chair with my dad and cuddle with him. And I'm 60 years old. 61, actually. And I still love to cuddle with my daddy. So, are interesting AF. Sorry. It's good tears. It's happy tears. Um, was the same as our made me smile yesterday. So we have a different one. The snow on the fence is making a great optical delusion. Optical I'm sorry, optical illusion. I say optical delusion so much I just tap it now. Just tap it. So that's pretty cool. Oops. That is neat. It's also you also have to have the right shade of gray in the clouds to make that happen. Well, that's really cool. Just mildly interesting, and that's okay. Mildly interesting is also good. Somebody said they saw it for 10 seconds and then saw the real image and now they can't get back to the illusion. Yeah. That's because what you're seeing is only part of what you're seeing and your brain fills in other parts. It it's weird. It's really weird. Somebody thought it was a janky drawing. Next we have Am I the A-hole? That one snuck up on me. I don't have any candy here. AITA for my USB killer frying my friend's PC after she snooped in my bag. No, people shouldn't be snooping in other people's places. Don't do that. It's not good. Don't do it. 20 female. My friend is 21 female. I always carry a USB killer in my backpack. It looks like any other thumb drive, except I stuck a tiny devil face sticker on it, so I know it's the dangerous one. I keep it on me because I still live at home and my parents are super nosy. If I ever left it on my desk, I'd definitely pick it up and plug it into their laptop to see what it is. Don't do that either. Parents, talking to you. Yesterday, I had to leave campus in a rush and asked my friend to watch my bag for a bit. She ended up not having time. I ended up not having time to come back, so I just texted her to take it home and I'd grab it today. She said, cool. She gets home, admits she got curious and started looking through my stuff. Don't look through other people's stuff. Jeez. Finds a double sticker USB and thinks it's my normal drive. Plugs it into her PC, to her gaming PC to see what files I have. Computer dies instantly. Mobile and PSU completely gone. Now she's mad at me, saying I'm reckless for carrying something like that and I need to buy her a whole new setup. Oh no. No, 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 no. No judge is going to go for that young lady, even though she knows she shouldn't have been digging around in my bag in the first place. I feel bad her PC is dead, but come on, don't snoop and don't plug in random drives into your computer. AITA, no. And it was Flair, not the a-hole. Ahmad said the thread is closed due to excess rule violations, and it's taco night. I made some abusively hot salsa. I want that to be the only pain in my ass tomorrow. Kiwi something says, your last line covers it. She was a bad friend to look through your bag and a bad friend to use something of yours without asking. She's learned an expensive lesson, lifelong lessons. Don't be a dick to your friends and don't plug unknown USBs into your computer without first checking with a trusted source about what's on it. NTA. Radiant Bowler says, especially the ones that are marked with a sticker that indicates something bad. Commercial Exotic says, let me taste this thing when it has a skull and crossbones on it. Hope he didn't say it was bad. Nate, I don't know what that's supposed to say. Never install media of unknown content is your system. Don't snoop in other people's stuff. Simple rules. Violate them and bad things tend to occur. Yep, it's your no consequences. Next we have Overheard, and it's entitled Two Moments I Overheard on New Year's Eve. Walked past a random guy standing on the street New Year's Eve. He was talking on his phone in front of an apartment building. Random guy. I'm gonna go if you're not gonna let me in. Do you want me to leave? Do you want me to go back to her? I don't want to go back to her because I want to be with you. But if you're going to push me away, then I guess you want me to be with her. Is that how you want us to start the new year? Girl should be calling the other girl. Back home on New Year's Eve, I overheard the following between my family. Dad, it is no longer enough to just say Happy New Year. Now you have to buy each other gifts. Brother, it's just something I got to my girlfriend and I do, Dad. Dad, Gen Z. Mom, I think it's sweet. I wouldn't mind a New Year's gift from the man I love. Dad, are you sure, honey? Because the last New Year's gift you received made you hate the man you love for 9 whole months. There's a reason kids are born in like September and October. Economy Dirt says, quote, do you want me to go back to her? Damn. Then one day she woke up and says, I hope the answer was yes. Lafette says it's probably I don't care where you go as long as you go. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Thor damn it says, I hope neither of them lets him in. Oh, that's funny. Tear off my chest. Entitled, I'm forcing my boss to arrive at the office every day at 7 a.m. I just started a new job and decided I wanted to make a good impression by being in the office a little early. Also, so the manager cannot see if I'm only here for 5 minutes or if I was already here for an hour, so nobody questions if I leave early. So I start coming in between 8 and 8:15. The first day I noticed I was the first, but the rest of the week my boss would already be there at at 8 o'clock. Apparently, he's an early bird as well. I do not understand how people can function that early in the morning. I couldn't even get out here by 10, remember? So the next week I arrive at 7:30. Again, I'm the first one on the first day, but the rest of the week that guy is already in the office before I arrive. I'm truly wondering now what time this guy goes to work. So last week I arrived at 7 a.m. on Monday, and the same thing happened. Tuesday, that guy was already sitting on his desk when I arrived. He's a good boss because the boss should be the first one there on a regular basis. So yesterday I asked him, what time do you usually get at work since you were here extremely early? And he confessed that the director demands all managers to arrive before the first staff member arrives and leave only after the last staff member leaves. Okay, that's a little ridiculous. That's a little ridiculous. So me trying to beat him to the office was forcing him to get out of bed an hour and a half, 1.5 hours early to be at the office at the as crack of dawn. Well, I still have to work until at least the last team member leaves around 5:30. Anyway, tomorrow I will be in the office at 8:30 sharp. Sustainable Caswell, it says, my only worry was that if it had continued, then you'd both be in the at the office yesterday for today's shift. Flower and Moon says, respectfully, WTF. Yeah. Significant Move says, the poor dude probably hasn't seen daylight outside the office in weeks. OP accidentally speed ran the manager's burnout arc. What do I do? What do I tell my friend? She says the cops are acting weird about it. There is like a text or something. I think someone has been trying to kidnap me or something over the past 2 nights. There's been someone in the attic I can hear. Things move around when I come home. My passwords to my alarm system and Wi-Fi network change, and I've been locked out of making changes on it, or the doorbell sound camera is shut off, and it says my code is inaccurate, and then later it works. And then sometimes the alarm is disarmed without my action. I'm not okay, and I think the Wanging Beach police are on it, whatever the wang has been going on. Okay, that is strange. I'll admit that. At first, if you hear something in the attic, it's usually just animals. But the passcode thing is weird. Dev Devo says, bring a carbon monoxide detector and check the attic. If the CO detector doesn't go off, then there's nothing in the attic. Psychiatrist, if the CO detector goes off, call 911. Well, I don't think that's true. I mean, you can have a CO detector anywhere and it won't go off unless there's a high rate of CO in the air. CN Hope says, I've seen posts here on Reddit that were follow-ups about people having kinds of mental issues saying it was CO. For sure, start with the CO and then move on to other things. That would make more sense. Okay, Scientist says, agree, start with the CO, but I feel like there are just as many, like, update, I'm okay, it turns out drinking 2 cases of Red Bull and not sleeping for 5 days is bad for you. Except says, only if you run out of Red Bull. Firefighter Thin says, Red Bull gives you wings when you run out. See if there's any other. Life Project said, my friend sounded like this when her psychosis began. She thought the mafia were trying to recruit her through gym trainer's top and the TV, etc. And then they were after her and sending her warnings via random adverts, people on the street day to day, including old women. Appropriate Bag says, yes, very much so. My best friend is doing much better, but her schizophrenic disorder started out very much like this. Thinking she was being stalked, but someone was in her home moving things around and that other people were in on it. OP, if you can, you are able to have a phone conversation or meet with her somewhere in person, being able to talk to her in that way will give you a better idea of state she's in. If this is some form of psychosis, remember this fits very real to her. I don't know why they're doing that. Someone says this is what my bipolar sounded like as well. I was apparently a paid actor in it and in on it. Apparently it was done. It's not no longer downvoted, but apparently it was. Advanced Avocado says, I don't understand why your comment is getting downvoted. Bipolar order can just cause delusions like this. It's known as bipolar disorder with psychotic features. Ooh, that sounds scary. Um, what up, my Glyplops? Kidnappers are decidedly not changing her Wi-Fi code and then changing it back. So it's either carbon monoxide or a psychotic break, and middle cap says or meth. I would definitely get her checked out because that's not normal behavior, whether it's a psychotic break or some other mental thing. It could also be brain tumor. Always a brain tumor. Oh, I should check. Check and see if it's a brain tumor. Ah, what about that? Wonder if they have an update. I can't find any update. Next, we have entitled parents. Entitled, Syl wants to kick off my toddler to feed her baby in my high chair while mine's still eating. I keep a small floor seat with a tray at my in-laws, 1.5 hours away to feed my kids. I bought it for my son who's now outgrown it. My daughter, 18 months now, uses it whenever we visit. Now my sister-in-law uses it to feed her 11-month-old when she visits her mom's every weekend, which is no problem when we aren't there. However, there's a second floor seat with a tray that's in the basement that her sister recently bought, but she insists on using mine. Even when I was visiting, she just takes it to feed her son. Meanwhile, I'm looking for a place to put my crying daughter who's hungry to eat and is older, so can't fit in the other smaller seat. And Sylvia just completely ignores the fact that she's using my seat to feed her son, let alone ask or show any care. Well, that's kind of rude. Go get the smaller car seat. Be aware of other people's needs, and go get the smaller car seat for your kid. But it gets worse. The second time I'm feeding my daughter and she's still in it, and sister-in-law comes with her son and asks if she's done. And I said, no, she still has to eat rice. And sister-in-law says, does she need to eat rice right now? And I said, yes, she's having a meal. There's a second seat in the basement. You can just use that. And sister-in-law gets annoyed and entitled and says, I'll just feed him in my arms. Okay. So why does she feel so entitled to use my seat to the point where she wants to kick off my daughter mid-meal so her son can use the seat? Oh, there's a perfectly fine seat in the basement for her to use that fits her son. How do I approach this situation each time I visit? I love her son and I'm happy to share the seat with her, but her entitlement is so off-putting where she only cares about her own son's meal and not my kids. I feel petty having to remind her that it's my seat and I keep it there for my kids. So she should use the other one available that doesn't fit them. Or at least ask. We are both expecting more children, so it seems like someone needs to cash out some money to get another seat or two. Okay. LOL. When you get there, go down the basement, grab the other seat, bring it up. Then when she has a problem, the seat's right there. She doesn't even have to leave. Biscuit Overlord says take it with you, leave it, and bring it back every time she visits. She should get the message. Yeah, that seems like a pain. I would go down and get the other seat, personally. I mean, if you're not there, what does it matter if she's using it? At least it's getting used. Everybody's saying take your seat. Yours is nicer and more available. Intolerable Femme says, for starters, you need to stop being so passive. I would have asked her, is there a reason you think I should kick my child out of this chair I bought so that your child can eat when there's another one downstairs? Because it's really giving me a bad rub, and I feel like you're not being considerate at all. I've know somebody has a similar situation with a car seat that they bought, it's their car seat. Somebody else is insisting on using it. Buy another car seat, so it's yours. Oh, no consequences. Entitled, OOP leaves his wife at the clothing store when she makes him late for a movie. Her disregard for his feelings eventually leads to divorce. Best of Redditor updates originally 4 years ago. It was entitled, Chronic Lateness is Cause for Divorce. I am not OP. AITA, the original was AITA. No, original was Am I the A-hole? And later True Off My Chest. Original post. AITA for ditching my wife at the mall because she's taking too long. Probably not, because that is a disregard for your time period. She should be rushing. She should be rushing, or she should cut it short. I'm a 34-year-old man and my wife is 29. We have been married for 5 years. Since we started dating, she has always taken her own sweet time doing everything, getting dressed, doing her makeup, eating, whatever it is, she takes forever. I'm generally a patient person, but I get extremely anxious when I'm late for something with a scheduled start time. Can relate. Alone, I've never been late for anything. With her until I'm late for everything. The most frustrating thing about this is that she seemingly has no ability to comprehend that she is making people wait. Even if I suggest that she move a little faster, she gets really defensive. A few years ago, one of her best friends dumped her because she was tired of her chronic lateness. Seems like she's a faffling. Yeah, one way to deal with this is to tell them the wrong time. Lie to them. This is an acceptable time to lie. If the movie starts at 12:30 and you know that's going to take her an hour and a half to get ready, you tell her that the show starts at 11, and then you'll be on time. Last night we went out to a movie. Getting to the mall before the movie started was a battle itself, but miraculously, with prospect of doing some shopping before it, she was able to gather her necessary belongings and get there with time to spare. Excuse me. She started shopping while I more or less followed her until it was about time to get to the theater. I told her this, and she was talking to a sales clerk about clothes she wanted to buy, and she told me to hang on for a second. As usually, hang on meant I have absolutely no concern about your needs because I'm doing my own thing right now, and anything other than that I want to do is out of the question. Honestly, why did you marry this woman in the first place? She's rude. I waited around for a couple more minutes until she started taking jeans off the shelves and trying on new combinations. The previews had already started. I told her again, and she said we can just skip the previews. That's when you are buying popcorn, ma'am. At this point, I just walked away. He really didn't ditch her. He just went to the movie without her. At this point, I just walked away, which she naturally didn't notice. Turned off my phone and enjoyed the movie myself. As a side note, I missed the first few minutes of waiting for her, standing in line, making my way to the theater. On my way out of the theater, I saw her on a bench in the lobby beside herself because I ditched her. I honestly didn't feel bad about it at all and told her I'd do it again. This made her more upset. We finally had an awkward, quiet drive home. Apparently, she was actually looking forward to the movie too. Was I the a-hole in this situation? Tough love, but she seems really hurt. Update entitled, I'm divorcing my wife because she has been late for 90% of everything we have ever done together. Everyone I know is shocked and confused, but I don't care. 2 months later, 10 hours ago at time of writing. No, I'm not having an affair. I'm not having a midlife crisis. I'm not looking for a younger woman, and I'm not hiding anything. Now that we have that out of the way. My wife and I has been together for 12 years. During this time, she has not made even the slightest amount of effort to be on time for anything we did. When we were dating, average wait times were 15 minutes to an hour for her to finally wangy show up. I waited because I loved her. After marriage, she somehow got worse, and after childbirth, she got even worse. She used to blame circumstances for being late every time, but now she blames our son, and I put up with it because I loved her. Example, we're currently looking at preschools. We're 15 to 30 minutes late for each meeting because the thing we need most in our lives is for the teachers to believe our son is chronically going to be late for school. It's always something with her, and your son will be chronically late for school. I know people who cannot get ready. They get out the door on time, even for school for their kids. Don't do that to your kids. That's abuse to me. Mild abuse, but still abusive. Example two, I wanted to see a movie in a theater a while ago. She wanted to come. I had to leave her clothes shopping because I wasn't going to miss the start of the movie. Of course, she was livid. Example three, a few months ago, we went to see a concert of a group she likes. We were an hour early because, of course, we are an hour early. It was something that she wanted to do. I'm so sick and tired of it. Dinner reservations are always a toss up because restaurants in our area have no chill and will cancel your reservation if you're a minute late, as they should. They have things to do. Growing increasingly anxious as she stares at her wanging phone and trying to ask her in the nicest way possible to hurry up is a horrible feeling, especially since she will flip her lid the second that I try to tell her we're going to be late. Then she needs to stop being late. With friends, going to children's event with our son, for Wang's sake, even trying to take a walk is always an ordeal of trying to get her to put the GD phone down and get ready so I don't have to stand in line like an idiot. Stand there like an idiot. I think my boiling point was last week when I stood at the entrance of our house for 20 minutes with our son as he grew increasingly impatient, and then seeing that she had abruptly decided to start vacuuming the house. I'm getting spammed with calls from mutual friends and family. She went and told everyone that we're getting divorced. Everyone wants to talk me out of it. I just broke after years of patience. I have no regrets. Special note to mathematicians and actuaries. My son-in-law is an actuary. While they were married for 5 years, they were together for 12. Babsarella says, being absent-minded, I get. Purposefully dragging your feet like this, however, is just plain abusive and is being used as a method of controlling everyone around you. Also, if she doesn't get her butt in gear and get the kid to school on time, she can lose custody. That can be a custody loss thing. That is really sad. Space Mix said I've broken up with friends because of this, and I have no regrets. I can understand when crap happens or when you misjudge timing a couple of things. When someone is consistently, significantly late to every event, it's a sign they don't really care about you, full stop. So many people like that. It's so rude. They have no respect for anybody else. Mildly infuriating. Entitled, I got uninvited to a friend's holiday potluck while I was on my way to it. What the wang? I was invited to a potluck hosted by a friend and was told it was happening 3 weeks in advance. The day of the dinner, my mom and I cooked some food to bring. I texted my friends heads up that I was on my way to theirs. They replied saying the dinner location changed to a different friend's house the next city over, about 20 minutes away. I started driving towards the city and they asked for the address. They said everyone was already there and that there wasn't enough room for me. At a potluck? I tried following up, but didn't hear anything else from them afterwards, and I didn't want to make a scene by texting other people that were there. I would have texted other people that were there, as most were friend adjacent to me. No, you always text somebody else because you don't know what they're trying to pull. I cut my losses, turned around, and went home. I got an apology text a couple of days later, but I felt like the rug was pulled out from under me. Super frustrating situation all around. No, this was really rude. Extremely rude. Edit, while this post grew up and right away, appreciate all y'all's kind words and gold. Yes, the food in the photo was what my mom and I cooked. There's a photo. You don't need to see it. I'm not AI. As for the friend, I'm planning to cut contact with her. Shooter Max says those are not your friends. Actually, if somebody I knew was coming to my house, since we're no longer at OP's friend's house, we're at somebody else's house, I was expecting them to show up, I would be going, "Hey, where's your friend? Where's your friend? Where's your friend go? Are they okay? Have you heard from them?" And if they said they uninvited them, I was go, "Oop, no, no." Yeah, dump them. That is not your friend. The whole other friend group might be okay. You don't know. There are a lot of people giving out awards on that one. Next, we have Am I Overreacting, entitled AIO for feeling upset after the groom made a comment about my dress at their wedding. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. There are pictures. I'll show you the pictures. So I assume this is the dress. It looks perfectly lovely. She intelligently cut out her face, and that's fine. Yeah, that's what's wrong with the dress. Oops. Hi, everybody. I'm trying to figure out if I'm overreacting or if this was actually rude, something I should bring up at some point. I, 25 female, went to a very really good friend's wedding. She didn't have any official bridesmaids, but I was her only unofficial bridemaid. I wore a dress in the photos, and the only skin was my arms, and I guess my back, as the dress has an X cut out, which is covered by my hair. The groom is a religious. Oh God, no, you're not overreacting. I already know. The groom is religious and from a country in the Middle East with more conservative cultural expectations around modesty and clothing. Too bad. He doesn't own the world. During the wedding, my friends told me John, fake husband name, leaned over and said, "It looks like you left half of your dress. It looks like she left half of her dress at home." She said it completely seriously and didn't defend me or say he was kidding. I know he was not joking because I know how he is in my standards for my friend. Nor did she say anything about my dress, like it's pretty or good or fine. Other guests that attended were wearing long dresses without sleeves, short, tight skirts, long, tight dresses, etc. It wasn't super conservative reception at all. Very informal and fun drinking party. See, if I had people in the chat, I would be putting up a survey right now. What do you think about the dress? Let me know in the comments. I feel really insecure and sad after, and I was just wondering why she would even say this to me. There have been other times when she has said that he told her, "I only got my job, a really good job, because someone in the interview thought I was attractive." So it's not just this one thing, it's plenty. Why is she telling you? Who cares what her husband thinks? I would never tell my friends something my husband said offhand like that or out of turn. I would never do that because that's mean. If my husband's being mean, I'll keep it to myself. It feels like I can't do anything right. So AIO, what do I do? Bring it up, brush it off. Is the dress not okay for the wedding? The dress is perfect for a wedding, especially if you're the especially if you're the only bridesmaids-ish person. Unofficial bridemaid. If you're the only unofficial bridemaid, it's perfect dress for unofficial bridemaid, especially if it has their colors in it for the wedding. I was gonna say common law bridesmaid. That comes from my dentist. I have a dentist. He's our dentist, but he has a big practice, and he has other dentists that are in the practice with him. They share their co-owners. So for a while, and I mean a while, I mean like years, a couple years, he was not. Our dentist was not there when we were there, and so we would see his partner. And one day, the partner comes in. He says, "I guess I'm your common law dentist now. I keep getting you. You keep coming in on my day." Okay, character click said someone was for sure jealous that you looked banging. Just feel proud and ignore these people. Yeah, she was banging. I would agree. The next Top rated comments. I'm not sure why she felt the need to share that with you, but I'd shake that off because it was her husband's, not yours, and you rocked that dress. Yes. Someone says she thinks the bride's jealous. And if he's from a Middle Eastern country, I mean, multiple wives are a thing. Not a common thing, but are a thing. Uh, this is from Server Life, and it says, my favorite slip of the night gave us all a good laugh at the end of a slow holiday ceiling. Unfortunately, I don't think that works that way because it's based on what not what they got. Because cash, weighing the IRS. Unfortunately, I think she still has to pay. And someone says, like, I'm assuming somebody said something about the new rules that they don't have to pay taxes on the first $25,000 of their income for the year, which is BS because everybody else has to pay on all of theirs. I'm just saying, I think it's BS. I don't think we should be tipping at all, except in very extreme circumstances where people go out of the way to do something for you. They should be getting a living wage, not minimum wage, because that's not a living wage as it was meant to be. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates. AITA for demanding my girlfriend change her dress for a wedding. Yes, most likely. It was originally in Am I the A-Hole on March 7th, 2022. This happened during this weekend, me being in my early 30s and my girlfriend her late 20s. I was invited to a wedding ceremony of a colleague and could bring someone with me. I asked my girlfriend that I've been dating for a year if she would like to join me, and she was really happy because apparently she loves weddings. Who doesn't? Free food and dancing, sometimes even drinks. Since we don't live together, I drove to pick her up so we'd have some time to spare before the wedding ceremony. As she comes out, she looks really beautiful and has obviously put in the time to fix her hair and makeup. She's also wearing an off-white dress that was rather ornate. Off-white dress, you don't wear that to a wedding, so maybe you're not the a-hole. As she got in, I told her that she looked stunning, but I asked if she could change into a different colored dress for the ceremony. I'm not one for etiquette by far, but one of the few things I've heard is that you should not wear a white dress to a wedding unless you're the bride. You are correct, sir. She became pretty upset and wanted to know what was wrong with her dress. It's the wrong color. That's what's wrong with it. I said it would be inappropriate to wear a white or off-white dress unless you're the bride, and that it's like a wedding law or something. I tried to be lighthearted about it. She rolled her eyes and said it was an outdated tradition. No, it's not. About women and virginity, and that when her friends got married, everyone wore white and it's not a big deal anymore. That is not true. That is 100% not true. I told her that I didn't know what the dress code for the ceremony, but since it's not saying all white clothes, I still thought she should change into another color but white or almost white because my colleague was getting married and we had no idea how she felt about it. My girlfriend became really upset and told me that I was trying to control what she was wearing. No, he's trying to save you from being embarrassing yourself, ma'am. And that it was abusive, which honestly made me really upset and hurt. I said something along the lines weighing, well, you shouldn't go to a wedding with that abuser then. Yeah, that's okay. And I told her to weighing off out of my car. She began to cry and wanted to apologize and give me a hug, and I just told her to get out, which she did. Edit to clarify, we never left the driveway by her home. I did not drop her off in the middle of nowhere or anything like that. I drove off and she called and texted a bunch, and I answered, I don't want to talk right now, and then turned my phone off and attended the ceremony. The bride was the only one that was wearing white, so I feel as if my gut feeling was the right one. When I got home, my phone had blown up with text from her and her best friend saying I was being inconsiderate and controlling and should apologize for my behavior. No, you don't. You were correct. I vented to a few friends and most of them agreeing with me, but some said that it was an asshole thing to tell her that she could not wear her dress. No, it wasn't. I wouldn't want to show up with somebody with a white dress onto a wedding because it had nothing to do with me. Yes, it did. I was invited to the wedding. You're making me look bad. I feel as if I was in the right since it was my colleague's wedding and it was better to be safe than sorry. But I'm also not sure if I was being an a-hole about the situation. So Reddit, AITA. Parish, Paris Hilton, too. Hi, Paris. Says NTA. I never thought I'd comment on a post with a title like yours. It's concerning that your girlfriend would call your etiquette corrections abusive. Has she been abused before? And OOP says, not from what she has told me. She knows I've had abusive family members and that I'm very careful not to act in a toxic way and do my best to communicate how I feel when there's an issue. B says, absolutely NTA, and your girlfriend sounds like an attention-seeking nightmare. Little everyone knows you're not supposed to wear white to a wedding. Even if she magically had not heard this rule second you mentioned it, a reasonable person would change dresses just to be safe. She clearly wanted to be the center of attention and create drama. And when you wouldn't allow it, she created drama another way. I would honestly end this relationship unless you want to be married to one of those just no mother-in-laws who wear white to their son's wedding and then act mystified when the bride gets upset. OOP, thank you. I've been thinking about ending the relationship partly because I feel like I'm too old for whatever it is, especially if it's drama. And also, she legit think I was being abusive, then I wouldn't want another person to feel that way about me. Lexa says, NTA, you don't wear white to someone else's wedding. When her friends got married, everyone wore white. That's for her friends and people she knows. This was a colleague of yours wedding, aka strangers she doesn't know. And then she quotes a point about being abusive, and she says, your girlfriend was out of line. She can wear white off-white to other functions. Asking her to change one freaking event was not abusive, especially when your reason for why was quite valid. Said something along the lines of, Wang, you shouldn't go with an abuser then. And then I told her, quoted all that, and then said, play stupid game, win stupid prizes. Glad you enjoyed the wedding. OP, thank you for the input. It feels good to hear that I was not out of line asking her to change her dress. Honestly, I was a bit shocked to see her come out the front door almost looking like a bride herself. Update March 8, 2022, next day. Update. I never expected this thread to get so many replies. I'm thankful for all of you that have reached out and commented, and I really, really appreciate that you've taken the time to tell me. My girlfriend found out about the thread. I don't know if she knew my handle or just found out. And we talked over the phone. She apologized and I apologized. It was pretty good talk. She asked me if she could come over, and I said no, that would be the best for us to go our separate ways. She got upset and asked why I wouldn't even try to work it out. I basically just said goodbye. And then she said my dick was small, which actually made me laugh after what had been a pretty mature conversation. And then she hung up. I'm pretty sad about it. She really made me feel happy. But as many of you have commented, if this was our first disagreement and she called me abusive, what would future disagreements look like? I was hurt, but if she didn't think I was being abusive, it would be the right thing to do. And if she didn't think I was being abusive and said it anyways, I would not want to be with her. So anyway, I think things worked out for the best for both of us. Again, thank you. And I will keep trying to respond to all of you, but there are a lot of messages and I read through them all. Redneck debutante said she knew abuse was a hot button with him, so she whipped it out as soon as she didn't get her way about something. I can't even imagine how this girl would act if he brought her to work events. Yeah, trying to one up all the women. Second one is quoted you shouldn't go to the wedding with an abuser. And it says, Talia, truly solid peace outline. Environmental art says, yep, and I'm glad he split because it's true. If you're abusive, end the relationship. If you're not, and a partner says you are after the first disagreement, they are just laying the groundwork to accuse you of potentially worse later. If a partner calls you abusive, the relationship isn't safe for at least one of you. All right, and then we have Made Me Smile, which is our usual ending. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing. This is entitled, Flight was delayed for 3 hours, so the pilot went around to everyone to take their Starbucks orders and then got 40-ish drinks and 50-ish food items for you. Shout out to this lovely Delta pilot from Boston to Tampa today. That's nice. KG says, Delta, your pilot is now head of marketing. That's weird. I'm not gonna share that. Snowbank Lake says, oh, she must live near, she must know on like Michigan, on the Michigan side. How sweet. It certainly wasn't his fault, but how nice he wanted you to all feel better. Or she lives in Buffalo, New York, or thereabouts. OP says yes, and he kept giving us updates, and it ended up making a really great flight experience, which I never thought would happen with a delayed flight. I've had one that was, I mean, not that well. The pilot didn't do it, but the airline did give us food vouchers, which were not enough, but we did get some off of a meal because we were on a 2-hour delay, I think. But so many people had rescheduled their flights that that we each got a row. Everybody on the plane got a row. And there were rows left over because so many people got uh, alternate flights that when we finally did take off, there were hardly any people left. It was a very nice flight, even for the little kids. They each had a row and they took a nap on the way home because it was late. And I felt very bad about the guy who was picking us up because it ended up being like, instead of getting in at 8, we got in at like 10 or 11. It was bad. Derby says, a very kind gesture, but imagine being the customer behind him in line. Reminds me of that. I think you should leave sketch. 55 lattes, 55 cold brews, 55 muffins, 155 cake pops. Upset with cursing says, oh, Captain, my Captain. Yeah, that was very good. Good on you, pilot. That was nice. That was nice of you. All right, that's all I got for today. No, we're not going to try AI. We're not paying for AI. Sorry, not sorry. Ugh. Ugh. Can you imagine paying for AI? I'm sure some of you do. I don't. I will not, and I refuse. Waiting for the bubble to burst on that because it's not gonna be free. Because AI be crazy right now. All right. Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Tomorrow's Thursday. Can you believe tomorrow's Thursday already? Week's half gone. It's like no time at all. I gotta go do chores because I didn't do them this morning like I was supposed to. Bad me. I really need to drink. I think I need to drink my coffee first and then get up and do stuff. Then take my shower and then do stuff after that. Because when I don't have my coffee, I don't feel like doing anything. And then I end up not doing anything because it takes too long to make the coffee, take the shower, and then make the coffee, and then drink. You got to drink the coffee. To drink the coffee, you got to sit down. And then once I'm sitting down, I ain't getting back up. It's a vicious circle. All right. Well, that's all I got. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Bye. Love you all. Love you, biddies. Bye. Bye.